In a world where information seems to travel at the speed of light and traffic at a snail's pace, where the agenda of those at the helm doesn't always reflect the pressures on the streets, where the rubber hits the road, where there's queue of issues needing to be interrogated in the name of speaking truth to power.
Welcome to a place at the table,
where we set the agenda,
table the issues that matter to you,
and invite you to take a seat at the table.
Welcome to a place at the table. Settle down and prepare for some soul searching as we take on some pertinent issues. I will be celebrating Nigeria's inspiring Paralympics champions.
soul searching indeed. As the saying goes, wonders will never cease. I will be shining the torchlight on a place where the woman is king. I know you want to hear more.
I certainly want to hear more, Kate. I'm putting greed under the magnifying glass and saying the greedflation must stop. Welcome to the table, Pastor Wale.
Thank you very much, Yinka. I have a passion for nation building, and I'll be speaking on that today.
Welcome to the table, Wale. Coincidentally, I'm speaking on life after death. I've titled it, Visualizing the End from the Beginning. I look forward to hearing your thoughts on that.
Well, it looks like we'll all be coming under the searchlights today. No hiding place. I come to celebrate today. I celebrate a team no one gave a chance. With the dismal outing of Team Nigeria in August at the Paris Olympics, no one reckoned with them. They are the proverbial stone the builders rejected, which became the cornerstone. So today I celebrate Nigeria's Paralympic team with 2 gold, 3 silver, and 3 bronze medals, totaling 8 medals. The Nigerian Paralympic team ranked 40th on the medals table, ahead of South Africa. Yes, South Africa. Eniola Bolaji, who won the first medal, made history as the first African to win medal in badminton, either Olympic or Paralympic. I mean, how extraordinary. Oyinyechi Mark won a gold with a breathtaking weightlift of 147 kg, smashing a own world record. Same for Folashade Oluwafemi, Team Nigeria captain, who became the first para-athlete in history to lift 166 kilogram to win a gold medal. She broke her own world records too. Esther Nwogu won a silver in 41 kg para-powerlifting, setting 2 new Paralympic records. Isha Ogunkunle got a bronze in para-table tennis, and in addition became the first Nigerian athlete to win an individual feat since the Sydney 2000 Games, and that was 24 years ago. Flora Ngunwa threw an impressive 19.26 meters to win a silver in women's javelin F54 event, making her a multiple Paralympics champion. She won 2 golds at the Rio Olympics previously. Now, Nigeria made its Paralympic debut at the 1992 Summer Paralympics Games in Barcelona. We competed in track and field, powerlifting, and table tennis. These 3 sporting activities have become the turf to watch out for Nigeria subsequently. And although the 2024 Paralympics outing in Paris has been described as the worst because of the overall number of medals, I am particularly thrilled that we set new world records. The best outing was at Rio 2016 with 8 gold, 2 silver, and 2 bronzes. Nevertheless, I salute these incredible women and men with disabilities. I like that Kwara State identified instantly with Eniola, the African Paralympics badminton champion. I hope the governor and the state will lead in making sports a safe space for the differently abled.
Who wouldn't want to identify with him?
I mean,
it's all okay till they win. But congratulations to all the winners. I wrote here, the physically challenged people doing it for the whole nation. Honestly. You know, on a great level and scale. It just goes to show that everyone has a purpose, you know, under God. No matter how you appear or your circumstances, there is a role for you. And these people have gone to show exceptional excellence, and I congratulate them and applaud them. And I hope Nigeria as a whole will start to take these people, the physically challenged, because they're not seen as people, seriously, and hope and know that they can contribute positively to nation building.
Spot on, Kate. Let me come to you, Yinka.
I congratulate them. I'm proud of them, and I think every Nigerian also should be proud of them. Historically, as you said, the Paralympics athletes have always outperformed.
Always. How?
Always outperformed other athletes. You know, and in Nigeria we have like two committees. There were the
Paralympics.
the Olympic Committee and the Paralympic Committee, but unfortunately they've not been recognized as much. You know,
But why do we do that?
Despite
that?
Despite the fact that they've outperformed.
They deliver more.
So I think, I like the fact that you celebrated the state that recognized Eniola, and I hope that other states will do the same thing as well, and also not just the state as well, the federal government as well will recognize these people. If we want to build an inclusive society, a fully inclusive society, then we have to recognize that the fact that you are disabled doesn't make you less of a person. Yeah. You are just, like somebody said,
just differently
abled.
So I love that.
So we have to really recognize them. But also we must not forget that the mess to which the Nigerian Olympic Committee made of the other Olympics, where athletes' names were omitted, for instance,
or the one that didn't have the bicycle,
like Favor or Philly, for instance, the one that didn't have bicycle. These things we must make sure that we stop them. We must make sure that we prepare. We have another 4 years now to prepare for the next Olympic, and we must not be caught lapping.
You know, my wonder is how these Paralympians practice, how they prepare. Do they have the right resources and facilities to do this?
Tools and everything. I wonder, because if you are not prepared for the ables, how then are you going to pay them much attention? And they still, in spite, go on to win medals. It's just so amazing. And it just speaks to the resilience of the Nigerian spirit that we do, regardless of not having anything, we still thrive, and that's really admirable.
It's amazing. Truly. Yeah. Zuma.
I would like to start by acknowledging Nigerian women. They are the best in carrying the country on their backs. I mean, look at the array of medals. A lot of them, a higher number of them are women.
Yinka gave you a side eye. Like, here we go with the women talk again.
And then I'd like to point out that in recent times, there's been more publicity regarding the Paralympics. And despite the amount of work that those people do and the amount of effort they put in, considering they are differently abled, it's impressive. Like Yinka said, that they are able to achieve so much with very little effort and publicity. I like the fact that social media has kind of like amplified their voices and the things they are doing. And I hope going forward, we will be supporting them more. We as individuals, and then the government at a different level. I would also like to highlight the fact that Kwara State government has been very supportive of sport, irrespective of the level of ability. Like the state-run sport facilities are always constantly being upgraded.
Really? Nice.
Yes, so they have the badminton court that was recently rehabilitated, the squash court. All of this was done in the past 1 year. And it's not just this administration with the previous administrations, it's
like a culture.
It's a culture in Kwara.
Oh, wow. Pastor Wale, let me come to you. I haven't heard that they've been given any money, either by even Kwara State. I haven't heard that these athletes were rewarded with money. I wonder whether it's just been delayed, or they're still thinking about it, or they're not even thinking about it at all. So let me come to you, Pastor Wale.
Well, before I say anything else, I'm going to talk to my church and see if we can't give some gift to them to say thank you.
That's great. That's fantastic.
Thank you. Oh, that's so nice, really.
And then, what is it that the Paralympians do that the Olympians aren't doing?
Good
You know,
question.
we ought to have taken medals at the Olympics, but we didn't. And they made a great show. They did very well. Kudos to them. Double the number of medals you get at the next Paralympics.
Oh,
I hope the state government and the federal government go beyond just giving them money and maybe house or whatever, but make sure that they have the right equipment. The
Resources.
equipment, to prepare the next set of people and keep enabling them to excel.
because as you can see, they've smashed their own world
Yes.
records.
Their
So,
own.
but are we grooming new
That's
people?
what I'm
Are we
saying.
creating a talent pipeline?
Yes.
Thank you.
To compete on a global scale.
That's it. Thank you, people. To forge ahead, we must celebrate our milestones because this is what gives us vision of what could be and what could be attained.
Have you ever considered a place where the woman is king? I read an article earlier in the week where the Metropolitan Police in a church service by Divine Restoration International Church in the UK issued a notice to Nigerian women to stop reporting their husbands. It is estimated that more than 70% of the Yoruba women in England, Wales, and Ireland are single mothers who threaten the fathers of their children with police action because of welfare benefits. The report states that the Met Police in London brought out a Yoruba police officer to warn the women to stop this act as it would deprive the children of fatherly care, which leads them to become victims or perpetrators of knife crimes. This has become a trend not just among Nigerian women, I must say, but among African women in the diaspora. This stems from the fact that in the West, the woman is prioritized. Social services place the welfare of the child above that of the parents, and in cases where they feel the home environment is not conducive for the child or children will be removed from the home. As much as I'm not holding brief for the women, I also acknowledge the fact that relationships will experience friction or go sour from time to time. But the abuse of a system put in place to help genuine cases should never be exploited, trivialized, and used for personal gains. This has led to a lot of Nigerian men being removed from their homes and incarcerated abroad. The patriarchal behavior of most Nigerian men makes them easy prey. And if they want to stay out of trouble, so to speak, they have to unlearn certain habits. Facts. Yinka,
Kate.
You were shaking your leg. I'm coming to you first.
Kate.
Sir.
Kate.
Sir.
Okay. You see, it's a wake-up call for men. And I'm being practically honest here. Because you see, if these men were not found wanting, all right, at least if they were responsible.
Oh, you're using that word again. The responsible that they wanted to tear me up on Twitter for.
going to say,
If the men were responsible, there's no reason why your woman will go and report you to the police. No reason. So it's a wake-up call for men, especially men who are thinking of relocating. Understand that the lessons, you have to learn it here
Yes.
before you transport yourself,
To
your
the abroad.
culture, your bad behavior to the abroad, and you think that you can continue the misogyny, the bad treatment of women, and you do it there in a society that respects the rights of a woman, that sees the value of a woman, and also protects our weaknesses. So it's a wake-up call for men. And somebody will say, it's our culture. It's our culture. No, I don't agree that it's our culture. I don't agree that our culture is for us to maltreat a woman or to deprive her of her economic and psychological rights or emotional rights. All right? We already have laws that protect domestic violence and also ensure that people respect each other. So, to the men out there,
Thank you, Yinka. Please continue.
like myself, okay, it's a wake-up call. I think we can look at this and start saying, oh, these women are bad or not. No. I look at this and I tell myself that in what way can I be a better man? Yes. In what way can I be a better person? In what way can I make sure that my spouse is happy to support me in every way? And if you internalize it that way, if we look at it from that perspective, I think that we can be better.
Zuma, you chuckled a bit, so.
The police said they are tired, to the point that they had to get a Yoruba police
and in church too, because that's where they will gather.
That can relate with them. 75% of Yoruba women, that's huge. I think women need to be aware that parenting is not designed to be done alone. Each parent comes with a unique, innate skill set that contributes to the entire upbringing of the child, that contributes significantly. As much as you don't like your partner, you should always give them a chance to be involved in their child's life. Whatever it is that is going on between you two, you can decide to be a part, but don't do it in such a way that the child will be deprived of a particular parent. And this goes both ways for men and women. Nigerian men, they want the benefits of the West, but they don't want to adopt the culture.
Okay.
And that plays a significant role because gender roles are totally different and gender expectations are different here and in the Western part of the world. So it's important to internalize and understand the expectations of the new culture you are in so you can adapt and fit in properly.
Okay. Pastor Bali, I'm saving your best for the best for last. Okay, you have.
Well, the thing is, women are naturally long-suffering. So it must be quite unbearable, must have been quite unbearable for these women to have resorted to reporting to the police. 70% of those reporting are Yoruba women. That's a lot. And it makes me put a question mark on the Omoluabi philosophy of the Yoruba people. Because if you are an Omotioluwabi, you will not be this irresponsible. That's the first one. Secondly, it tells a lot about the identity of the Nigerian in the UK. So if the Met Police decided to go to the church, it speaks a lot about how Nigerians are perceived abroad. That's number one. Then how do you go to church repeatedly and then you put up this sort of behavior? It means that you just go for the culture of going, but nothing
for religion,
reflecting in your life.
Are you addressing the women or the...
I'm addressing the men now, the irresponsible men who have to make these women go through this. Because again, women are they multitask. And you can imagine the burden on a lot of this women. So my appeal to us as a people and to us as Nigerians, our men is grossly irresponsible to put a woman in a family way, have children, and neglect taking care of these children and these women in a foreign land. It speaks a lot about these Yoruba men.
Pastor Wale,
the gender was not stated. The gender of the men
was not stated.
So don't let us assume.
I don't understand. Okay, I'm going to Pastor Wale now. Pastor Wale, this is my comment to you, but I also want you to comment on my advocacy. There's this big sermon always about women submitting, and it always comes off as submit and then the man will do. But for me, this is a personal opinion, is like when the man lays down, ready to lay down his life, like Christ did for the church, the woman would naturally submit. But I want your thoughts on the advocacy and on this.
The scripture actually says, submit yourselves to one another.
Yes.
So it's not just about submitting.
But there's a popular one about the wives.
There is. And it also says, husbands, love your wives as
Christ loved the church.
But the problem is a lot more foundational. I think the problem starts with poor preparation for marriage. People are not being prepared for the realities that they will face in marriage. People go into marriage with different expectations, and then they're disappointed when those expectations are not met. I think we have to do a lot more in preparing people. So it's not just about our culture. You know, for me, from the Christian point of view, there is a Christian culture, and it supersedes any traditional culture that you belong to. And so we need to get people into the culture of marriage. Two people come together to share one life. That's how I interpret the scripture that says, they two shall become one. You don't become one physically. You become one in terms of sharing each other's lives. So when I ask people to do premarital counseling, and premarital counseling, we take them through parental expectations, relations with in-laws, sexual expectations, financial management. We take them through the whole gamut.
Yeah.
So that by the time they get into marriage, there's nothing new. They know each other a lot better than they would have done before marriage.
Well, not to discountenance the fact that there will be people who are using this situation for their own selfish benefits. I'll say two wrongs will never make a right. Right, Yinka?
Absolutely, Kate. You spoke of unlearning certain habits.
I did.
Top of the list must be our culture of selfishness and greed. That inflation is ravaging the country is a fact. Cost of production, energy, transportation is high. These things affect the price of goods and services. But there's also what we have come to know as greedflation, the idea of exploiting the reality of inflation to create excessive profits. This can also be referred to as price gouging. The Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, recently issued an ultimatum to businesses to reduce prices. According to the CEO, businesses involved in price fixing and gouging will be penalized as both practices harm consumers and are considered unfair business practices. Many in the organized private sector quickly spoke up to oppose this ultimatum, describing it as price control. The FCCPC was quick to respond that it's not price control, and they are right. And it's important for Nigeria to know that. According to the Federal Competition Consumer Protection Act, price gouging and price fixing is illegal in Nigeria. Specifically, Section 17S prohibits obnoxious trade practices or the unscrupulous exploitations of consumers. It states in Section 108, 1B and C, that any conspiracy, agreement, or arrangement to unduly limit or manipulate supply in order to unreasonably enhance price or restrain competition is a criminal offense punishable upon conviction by 3 years jail time or 10 million naira fine for individuals, or 10% of turnover of the previous year if it's a corporate entity. As we speak, there are many engaged in the business of hoarding. They buy stuff, store them away to create scarcity, and then sell at exorbitant prices. Recently, the chairman of BUA Cement, Abdul Samad Rabiu, revealed that despite BUA's effort to sell cement at a fair price of 3,500 naira per bag, their plan was undermined by dealers who inflated price to as much as 7,000 to 8,000 naira per bag. This is totally unacceptable. Regardless of the economic hardship, consumers must not be exploited under any guise. What say you?
I'd like to start by saying, as much as this is meant to be a crime under the law, has anyone ever been prosecuted for it?
So no.
So again, it's a suggestion.
Yeah.
Because when we make up all these laws, and there are prescribed consequences, but none of the consequences are meted out. People are not going to take it serious. The use of the word greedflation, I love it. Like, it adequately captures what is currently going on in the country. We seem to be a very individualistic nation. We don't think about the effect of our actions on our neighbors or on the nation as a whole. So you got cement at 3,500 and you're selling at 7,000, 8,000. Within the conscience, you feel that is appropriate. You know, and now we keep complaining that the government is bad, nothing is working, without being mindful of how we contribute to what is not working.
Kate?
I wrote the FCC PC was joking, I believe. That's the first thing I wrote. Who bears the cost of the transportation and the logistics of these corporations or whatever trying to get the final product to the or service to the consumer? Who? Everything is going up, but yes, within reason, like you said. Now, you are saying people are hoarding. NNPC, they hoarded their fuel. Other petrol stations, no, I'm going to say, they hoarded their fuel. And I remember posting on Twitter, right there on the line, they increased the price despite having old stock. So why not finish all of that stock, then bring the new stock and sell it at a new price? But you people put new price on old stock. And then you wonder why individuals take their cue from whatever that is going on. Because they did that.
I think the business answer to that is that when you are costing on the basis of replacement cost, when you're costing your goods on the basis of not the cost to which you bought it, but the cost to which you will replace it, you know, and you are aware that the cost has gone up, so it somehow justifies.
No, but that cost going up. No, but that cost going up has already been done. You are selling old stock in car.
Yeah, but how are you going to buy new stock?
But you have raised the price already, so you didn't include every other thing before you raised the price. Are you just saying the price is just raised for raising sake, and you didn't take into consideration all that is needed to bring that final price to the consumer? No. It was absolutely wrong.
Because it is what you buy that you're supposed to sell.
Finish selling it and buy, then give us the new price, not old stock. You say the price, you don't have anything to say.
Pastor Wali, what's your take?
You recall that at this table I talked about this some time back, that, and Yinka, you told me this is a free economy, free markets rather. Here we are. Some months back, traditional rulers actually started this in the Southwest by telling, especially the Oni of Ife and some other traditional rulers, saying to market women, don't even try it. If anybody does it and this person is reported to us at the palace, we will sanction such women. And that's how the prices of household food items started crashing, because they were inflating. Once everybody starts talking about prices are they will add to these things. About 3 weeks back, before these fuel prices went up again, I was returning from Niger State, and right at the border with Abuja, I saw 1,005 per liter. I went like, At that time, we were still buying at 6 something in Lagos. They had already inflated the price. It is wrong. FCPC is right. It is illegal. Judy Dada, the famous filmmaker.
I know him now. I shot a film with him, an award-winning movie.
Yeah. So he just got back to Canada after 5 years. So he went to the supermarket and said, for the life of him, he doesn't understand why this particular shop, whatever it is, they still sell at a dollar. That he picked up. He took a photo of the chips he bought. It's there on his Facebook post. He said he bought this same, the last time he was in Canada, it was $1. He came back 5 years after, it's $1. How does this person do it? So you see, there's the social responsibility part of what you do as a businessman. It shouldn't be all profit every time. You have a responsibility to the people as well. And they should just stop making life difficult for others.
Okay.
FCPC is right.
I'm a great believer in the free market, and that supply and demand should dictate the price. However, that's only possible in an economy where everything else is equal. Unfortunately, government doesn't provide the inputs that are necessary. I'll give you an illustration. I have a friend who has several hectares of cassava plantation. And one of the things about cassava is that the day it has to get to processing within 24 hours of harvest. Otherwise, it loses its quality. So to do that, he has to buy from neighboring farms because he doesn't produce enough for one day's production. Sometimes, because of the very bad roads, the truck may jackknife. It blocks other trucks from getting through, and it means that day's harvest goes to waste. Apart from the fact that he's generating electricity to irrigate the farm and so on and so forth. So our advocacy, I think, should be directed more at government, providing the environment that enables businesses to thrive so that competition will adjust the prices. I mean, at the end of the day, if you talked about cement. How many people produce cement in Nigeria? It's still a monopoly situation.
Yep.
And farmers or market women can form cartels because at the end of the day, there's not enough food in the market to satisfy all the demand. That's my take.
Actually, market women go to those who sell cheaper than some of them go there and threaten them and then intimidate them so that they jack up their prices to what they want to do. So actually, it is illegal.
You
A
still
lot
come
of them
back
are
to
doing
government not providing enough protection for people who are intimidated by others. You know, I see government as the main guilty party.
Well, there was this petrol station that they hailed on X about that the couple.
Bovas.
Bovas.
Yes.
Bovas. Thank
Bovas.
you. God bless the two of you for doing the right thing. They never, they're not greedy. Thank you, Bovas.
Hoarding is a full-blown industry in this part, particularly for farm produce. Palm oil, you see people like, oh, we buy palm oil in March, we sell it in August or September, when it would have doubled. I'm like, okay, are you sure that is right? Don't you have any ethical consideration about?
Go.
And you're very comfortable adding no value. What you're doing is buying and
Storing.
hoarding.
Yes.
It's hoarding.
You
It's
just
hoarding.
hoard. You don't want to sell. You wait until there's greedflation.
Yeah. And then
Take advantage of
I've
it.
often wondered why more businessmen don't go into the storage business, because that's one of the problems of food in our country. We can't store our food. And it's a good business to go into so that there is food 24 months, 12 months a year. You know.
greed is a global language. To unlearn it, you must have fresh vision and inspiration.
Fresh vision and inspiration. Yinka, permit me to provide a bit of both. Many Christians labor under the illusion that life is divided into two sections, the spiritual and the carnal. This dichotomy stems from an Old Testament division between the priests and the people, the Levites and the other tribes, continuing into the Old Testament doctrine of clergy and laity, or sacred and secular. The result of this thinking is that many Christians, sometimes encouraged by church leaders, believe that the church is responsible for meeting the spiritual needs of its members and no more. A clear understanding that we operate both in a spiritual realm and also in the natural realm will help us to accept our responsibility to God while we're here on earth. I believe this is a major reason why many Christians refuse to take responsibility for the trials and woes that have befallen us as a nation, restricting themselves to prayer and other spiritual activities. You are the salt of the earth. That's what Jesus said in Matthew chapter 5, verse 13. He also said, you are the light of this world. Christians should take responsibility for our nation. Whatever goes wrong in our nation, we accept it as our fault. Conversely, whatever goes right is to our credit. Salt brings flavor and preservation to whatever food it comes in contact, while light reveals whatever was hidden in darkness. Some of our responsibilities are, for instance, to train and equip people for leadership, not only in the church, but in every facet of human endeavor. To empower and equip people to develop small and medium-scale businesses or industries. To teach, coach, and mentor Christians to model Christ. To prepare people to go into politics and government. To speak truth to power. To work towards the eradication of poverty. And some of our strategies must include targeting the following areas of endeavor which command significant influence in all cultures: religion, family, education, business, media, whether it's print, electronic, or social media, entertainment, sports and culture, government. These are the things that church must engage in order to help build the nation.
Okay.
I wish I could stand, but I'm strapped down at the back. This deserves a standing ovation. This is what needs to go out. I mean, if it were only by prayer, no other nation will come close to Nigeria, because there's a church on every street, every corner. There's a mosque everywhere we go, you know. And it's so instructive that you said, salt brings flavor and light reveals darkness. So we are the salt of the earth and the light of the world. That's the basis we should operate in when we are engaging or trying to be responsible citizens in our nation, and not just, how do I say, outsource our difficulties only to God and worry him. Well, we carry phone up, waiting for transfer to enter from the sky to our phone, waiting for alerts. Like, people have been sold a lie on so many counts. But thank you so much, Pastor Wale, for that advocacy.
Okay, let me jump right in. I like the binaries you drew up: spiritual, carnal, priest people, Levites, the other tribes, clergy, laity, Christian, secular. That in itself is a story. Now let me move on to the issue of the responsibility of the church. Yesterday, news filtered in that Portable slapped a pastor who came to his bar. Now, I know he speaks poorly of Portable, but then in the past, who would have thought that anybody would have dreamt of slapping a pastor, no matter what? So then again, it speaks to the current standing, the perception of pastors presently in Nigeria. So we need to address that, because there's so many of them who have soiled the garments of the other responsible ones. So we need to speak to that. And then we need to see the way that the church has gone into politics in recent time in Nigeria, and how, again, that has put a question mark on their credibility.
You know, you make some very, very important points there. Let me take the one on politics and the church. For a pastor, politics is in every part of our lives, but we must not engage in partisan politics, because I have members in my congregation that belong to all the different parties. And if I favored one party against another, it would affect my congregation. So and then you have bad in everything, but it's particularly difficult in the church, because our laws, our constitution gives us the freedom of worship, rightly so. And because we have the freedom of worship, you cannot criticize the way somebody worships. But I had a chat with Yinka earlier on before we came on set. I believe that one way to cure the ills that you find in the church is dealing with financial transparency. If that is done, then a lot of people that go into ministry will not be able to thrive there. You know.
Let me take you on now, Pastor Wale, because I think you just cued me in to my question on this, because I've advocated, not just at the table, but for many years in my life, about the need for the church in Nigeria to be accountable and transparent. Okay, accountability, transparency, governance, those three things. Because I believe that we should be the one modeling these things. We should be the one showing the right examples. That is, how do we account for what is given to us, the free will of donations that is given to us? And what I've seen is that the church in Nigeria has been one of the biggest obstacles or institution that fights against transparency. And when you ask, they go on this whataboutism thing. What about the government? He's not doing it. What about this? No. Jesus said, give unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar. And so if there is a responsibility that we have, which we have by law in terms of the law that churches are registered under, as an incorporated trustee, there is that responsibility to be accountable to God. There is a responsibility to be accountable to your members, and there's also a responsibility to be accountable to the church. So I don't know if you can speak to that in terms of how you perceive this issue of accountability.
Well, I have a branch in London, and they are registered under the Charities Commission, and they have to submit accounts every year, and the accounts can be published. I mean, anybody can apply to see the accounts. And as you said, the problem is not with the laws, it's with the enforcement of the laws in Nigeria. It's doable, and one of the things that I want to say to answer your question is, government is not only got a right, but has a responsibility to protect the public from unscrupulous people, religious people, whether it's pastors or whoever. Government has a responsibility, and they are not discharging that responsibility to the best of their ability at the moment. I support any move that would do that. As I said, we've been auditing our accounts for 30 plus years now, and they are accessible to whoever asks for them.
Who you are reflected in the delivery of this advocacy. It was inspiring, it was calming, and it was thought-provoking. Nigerians, again, I'm not going to generalize Nigerians, but I also understand that it is easier to blame a supreme being than take responsibility for our inefficiencies, than to self-reflect and acknowledge our shortcomings. So saying, oh, it's God's will, it's God did this, God did that, it's the easy way out. Religion is a total way of life, and it's important for who we are in whatever religion we are in to reflect in our politics, in our media, in the family, in the business, and also in our education. I like the way you highlighted all of that. The church is a custodian of the Christian faith, and the church should be involved and should take a forefront in delivering, in shaping the mindset towards all the aspects of life.
Can I quickly add something? There was this story that broke, I think it was sometime last year, of this guy who made a public show of demanding for the return of his tithes and offerings. I don't know if you remember that story.
I heard it.
I think vaguely I remember.
Yeah, me too, vaguely.
The guy came out and said, oh, I've had a hard time in business. I can't pay my workers. I have this issue. And then he brought out his tithe cards, and then he asked his pastor to return his money because the return on investment is not good. So, and
what's in it for me?
And he was castigated. He was dragged, seriously.
Well deserved.
For bringing out the church and everything. Now, my take is that it was lost opportunity. Because it was lost opportunity for the church. Because what that guy was really asking for was not for the return of his money. He wanted empathy. He wanted somebody to say, I see you, I can help you. And that the opportunity will have been for the church to call him, his local church, to call him to say, how can we help? Is it to give you access to finance? Is it to give you access to certain skills? Whatever it is, how can we help?
You come out
but
of
instead
this
of helping, we did what happened in Matthew 14, for instance,
shut them down.
Where the disciples told Jesus, send them away.
Or the man that was shouting, they should be quiet, don't
shut
disturb
them
us.
up. We can't take care of them. And that's why I love your advocacy, sir.
I love it.
Because what it says is that beyond the spiritual, the church has a responsibility.
That's right.
To say that when you have people that come to your church and they are hungry, you don't send them away to say, I'm taking your offering, go sort yourself out. If you have people that come to your church and they say, we need help for our business, you don't send them away to say, I take your offering, just go sort yourself out, but that we can actually offer them with the help that they need.
when you look at church, I can't think of any other organization that has so much resource in terms of human resources, all sitting together in one building, so that you can have somebody advise on business, on accounting, on so many different areas. And we can put that together to the benefit of our people. You know, people come to church on Sunday to be fired up. The work of the church is actually Monday through Saturday, when we're out amongst the people, helping and doing what. Whereas some speak of religion, I speak of lifestyle, born out of conviction and, yes, inspiration. Zuma.
Staying with the theme of vision and inspiration, join me in visualizing the end from the beginning, inspired by the finality of death. Death is the one certainty that unites us all, transcending cultures, beliefs, and time. Despite its inevitability, many of us live as though death were a distant, abstract concept, unrelated to our daily lives. We often lose ourselves in pursuing fleeting pleasures, ignoring the profound truth of our mortality. We refuse to define what truly matters. We live in fear and forget that each moment is both precious gifts to be savored and not squandered. In the face of death's finality, the questions that arise are unavoidable. What truly matters? What legacy will we leave? What will we be remembered for? The knowledge of our mortality should be a catalyst for change. It can drive us to break free from fear and self-doubt, push us to pursue our passions with resolve, and empower us to live authentically, aligned with our deepest values. Knowing that life is finite should inspire us to connect more meaningfully with others, to contribute positively to the world around us, and to leave an impact that echoes through generations. We can only achieve this by defining what we want to be known for and live in alignment with that vision. By living in the moment, savoring the beauty and joy of life. The past is behind us and the future remains uncertain. Investing in relationships and building meaningful connections with others that endure. And by pursuing what we love with passion. A life lived with purpose is a life fully lived. By making a positive impact on those around us and the environment, leaving the world better than we found it, and accepting the certainty of death and the uncertainty of when it will come. By visualizing the end from the beginning, we can transform our lives into works of art filled with love, purpose, and beauty. Let us not waste a single moment. Let us live each day as if it were our last, with gratitude and excitement. This advocacy honors Simi Olushola, the founder of the Aspilos Foundation, a woman who lived fully and left behind a life of deep impact.
Oh, thank you. I never met her, but I saw tributes on LinkedIn and on Facebook for this, about this woman. And this is such a thrill that you did this for her, to celebrate her legacy and what she stood for. Zuma, this advocacy is giving me goosebumps. I'm just going to spotlight what you said that resonated with me. You said a life lived with purpose is a life fully lived. And you said transforming our lives into a work of art. It speaks volumes that your life is actually, you're an artwork. And it is, if you live it intentionally, authentically, it will be that artwork that you talked about. Death unites us all. It's the reality of our mortality. And which is why nowadays I wonder in Nigeria, it wasn't like this in the 70s and the 80s, where everything about it is so materialistic. We place so much value on the sort of car somebody is driving,
consumerism,
or how you look, where you associate with. We've forgotten that really, at the end of the day, none of these things will go with us to the graves, and they don't define our lives here on earth. I want to thank you for this, because it's a messaging season, and truly it resonates with me.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. I've been looking forward to hearing this. A saying comes to my mind: no success without a successor. And one of the things we fail to do is to realize that no matter how well you live your life, no matter how much impact you make, if you don't leave a successor, you have failed. And I think I wrote a book a few years ago titled The Succession Crisis in Nigeria, because I saw that in every field of endeavor, we are not raising people to pass that legacy onto, to pass our values, to pass our vision. How does somebody follow a vision if they don't know or understand the vision and all the things that undergird it? So thank you very much for reminding us. I feel very sad when I go to funerals, particularly of people who have done so much and lived as if life would never end. And then you find them being lowered into a grave. And all the things that they accomplished in earth cannot follow them.
I only have quotes for you, but thank you. That advocacy was just beautiful. My pastor, Pastor Itoy says, he always says, leave the world light. You should leave it empty, leave it light, you know. Have known that you have poured out all of yourself, you know, into people. And then Beyonce has this song that I think you can go and check the lyrics. I was here.
Yeah.
You gave everything. I did my best. I left the world better than the way I met it. And Muhammad Ali said, service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth. We're only renting this space, it's not ours. Which is why I say that life, you know, a new day or life is a loan, not a gift. I've changed that. I used to say it's a gift. But you give a gift, I never take it back. But when you give a loan, it will be expected back from you. So I hope that with this advocacy and the honor you've given to this amazing woman, that we all are more intentional, knowing that definitely nobody's living here alive. We're going to go.
Thank you, Kate.
Thank you, Zuma. In your advocacy, you asked 3 questions that essentially every human being must ask themselves. What truly matters?
Yeah.
What legacy will I be leaving behind? What will I be remembered for? You know, I was having a conversation recently with my wife, and there's something we've been chasing for 10 years, and we just recently got it.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Congratulations.
Well done.
By the way, it's not a baby. You know, and we talked about it, and then she said something that, look, you know, after we got it, there's a sense of an anticlimax.
Is this it?
That's it?
Is that it? So what's next? And I said, really in life, you realize that it's not really about the destination, it's the journey.
It's the journey.
You're content, Sinka. That's why you feel that way. Some people
It's a journey.
not feel that way.
Because what you experience in life is that, so you think that it's a car that you need. So you get the car, then it's like, okay, it's a bigger car, all right? You want more. You get the house.
It's
you get the house.
insatiable.
And then next thing is a bigger house. Okay, you can fly first class, and then next thing I want to fly PJ. So life just has this, you know, thing. And the question then becomes, what truly matters? What is truly of importance? And I think it got to, for me, it was until I got to be 50 that I realized the fact that it's not the house. It's not the big car. It's not all that. I mean, the house. I mean, we have 2 kids. One of them is completely out of the house right now. She's gone.
So you're near the emptiness.
The second one is just 2 more years. He's gone.
He will face his wife.
So,
he and his wife.
so myself and my wife now, we're trying to like see how we can live a minimalist life now, because we just don't need those big things again.
Anymore.
Same here.
You know, so the question is what really is really important. At the end of the day, it boils down to things you said. Investing in relationships.
Right.
The times you spend with your children, with your spouse, with the people that matter, with the people on this table, you know, and thank God that I have you guys, you know, I have you guys, you know, here, and I've enjoyed rich relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It matters. It's important. And also the last bit for me is pursuing what we really love with passion.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Zuma.
On my post today, that was what I wrote. Find it. I said, find it. Find that thing that
gives you life,
you joy and makes you thrive, and hold it there, because trust me, if you lose it, you're just going to be
empty.
Yes.
And just before we wrap it all up, I want to thank Pastor Wale for that addition, that contribution. You said no success without a succession. I think this is what we grapple with in Nigeria, and I'm glad that you said you've written that book, The Succession Crisis in Nigeria. There's a succession crisis in every sector of Nigeria, whether it's in broadcasting that I talked about earlier this week, or in leadership. We're not investing in the next generation, those who will take the baton from us. Perhaps I should ask, on behalf of those of us at the table, for this book, you know.
Okay.
Yes.
I will send them.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's either we are motivated by the things that divide us or by the things that unite us. Which it is up to you. Be sure to join us again at the table, where we'll lend our voices to the issues that matter. Till then, it's goodbye from all of us.
Sayonara.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.